So this vlog was supposed to be about all the maintenance that we'd had done in the yard. We should have been in the water by now, but obviously events have overtaken us and we're still here. I don't think it's any exaggeration to say that this has probably been the worst couple of weeks that we've had since we set out on this adventure.
You and me, we're family. The bond that we share is as deep as the sea. No matter how rough things may come to be, you and me, we're family. Sing ho, hey, long for the ride home. Hey,
so a few weeks ago, it was business as normal. We were going to have the boat lifted, do some work on it for a couple of weeks and then put it back in the water. We're being lifted out tomorrow and the yard insists that you take the Genoa off, so we've just heard. So we're going to be taking this off and getting the lines ready in preparation for tomorrow.
So you get your boat to the yard and drive it into the bay. They put the strops around your boat and then they start to lift. Once the boat is lifted, then they can drive the hoist to your spot. When you get to your spot, they put all the chocks in place and any extra bits of wood they need, hammer it in, and then they can remove the strops and drive the hoist away. When all of that is out of the way, then they can get the jet washer and they can start to get rid of any extra growth or any layers of anti-foul that you don't want. And it's ready to start all the big jobs that you need to do while your boat is in the yard. They need to move the chocks so we can do underneath them, sanding and painting. So they kind of move one and don't put another one in its place, but just move it along. The kids are all on the boat, but apparently that's fine. Yeah, it's been really windy recently. This is probably a good day to do it because the boat's not shaking like it normally is, but it's still a little bit freaky. So when we came in, they had to undo the backstays, and while they did that, they actually dropped one of the bottom screws in the water there. But today they brought their diver. He went down and he managed to retrieve it, which we're really happy about because, as you know, this was our new rigging.
So we knew lockdown was coming. We were told initially that everything would be closed down for 2 weeks, schools would be closed for 2 weeks, and then everybody assumed things would go back to normal. This obviously hasn't been the case.
This is our playground. This is our garden, so the kids can come out here and they can play. And we don't really know what's going to happen, like nobody does really. We don't know how long we're going to be shut up in this yard, but we're just going to carry on with our boat jobs. There's Woody. We've got loads of things that need doing on the boat, so we're not going to run out of things to do. It's just probably getting products could be difficult.
So then the panic buying began, as you saw in the last vlog.
Everything's almost gone from the shelves. There's no meat, not that we eat much meat, but there's nothing. And like most of the pasta's gone. And everything's just, I don't know, people are panic buying in Spain. Yeah, the toilet's paper gone as well.
For guided reasons, you are required to leave immediately all roads and public areas and return to your homes and stay there. We are facing a very serious health emergency that requires the cooperation of all of us. Thank you.
But even then, things didn't seem all that bad. We thought we'd just see it through and thought we'd just carry on with the maintenance that we needed to do on the boat. The travel lift was putting a boat next to ours and managed to spray hydraulic fluid all over the back of the boat. So as we've got the washing out drying and we're trying to dry the hull out, we're now having to wash the whole thing down. More drama. Then slowly, progressively, things started to get a bit strange.
Weirdly, even though everything's weird anyway because of this coronavirus and everything's sort of in lockdown, we've got this other weird thing going on. It's an incident that happened when I was on my way to school with the kids, and there's one guy, a few months ago, he actually sat down on the pavement with his legs outstretched because he wouldn't let us pass. So we had to kind of cross the road. On another occasion, this man pushed past my youngest son and pushed his apple out of his hand. This man has been hassling me for weeks now. We were cycling along and we were late. He stood in front of me, so I got off my bike and he stepped in front. He just kept blocking and pushing, and he pushed me right up against the fence. The kids were screaming, they were really upset. And then the police were there helping people across the zebra crossing, and he went up to the policeman and then reported me for knocking him over and injuring him. I wasn't even on my bike, so I couldn't speak Spanish. The Spanish guy was just writing down what he said. I was shaking and upset and said to kids, just go to school. And so I kind of went with them a little way and then gave them their bags, and they ran off on their own, and they were really upset when they went into the classroom. So now I've been quite scared about going to school, actually, because in case I'm going to confront him, I'm not really sure what he's going to do next. After that, when Woody came with me with the kids to school, and it felt a lot better. The policeman has been back and forth to our boat now to take this statement saying, I could have fined you for this, but I didn't. We didn't have someone to help translate today, so we had to do it on Google Translate, and it didn't really sound right. I felt like he was getting a bit agitated, and if we didn't just sign it, because I think he wants to be done with it and get back to the coronavirus problem, because that's what's really going on at the moment. But I can't believe this guy wasting doctor's time and police time and everything else in light of what's going on at the moment. I'm told by the marina that they're shutting the toilets in the yard on Monday, and all boats have got to be put into the water. It's quite stressful because our boat's not ready, and there isn't any kind of negotiation on this. They said that is what the Guardia Civil have said. We've said that it will make us homeless. We've got 3 kids. Where do we go? They said go back to your homes. This is our home. It's pretty bad with the coronavirus, but making people homeless is even worse. I don't know why they're doing it, but that's what's happened today.
So then the Spanish government announced that they were going to extend lockdown by another 2 weeks, and also bring in more draconian rules, such as everybody had to stay literally indoors or on the boats and not get off at all, not even to step onto the pontoons, or in our case even get down the ladder off the boat, which is very difficult when you're in a yard and you've got no toilet facilities.
We've got no choice whatsoever. They're closing the boatyard down. They're closing the toilets first of all. The words haven't been given out properly. We didn't know exactly last week what was particularly happening, and now they're saying we've got to go. It's 2,000 kilometres to get there, 4 days to get there, so we'll just pack the van and go. No choice whatsoever.
It would have been nice to carry on in our own way, preparing the boats and getting ready for the season, but it's getting really serious, and it's time to go home.
Yeah, you've got to leave your boat now, haven't you?
Yeah.
You don't even know when you can come back. That's the other weird thing, isn't it? It's just not knowing.
No.
If we keep a really low profile, we can actually stay in the yard, and we've just got to be really quiet. The kids aren't allowed to run around anywhere, and we've just got to kind of tiptoe to the toilets. They'll keep the toilets open, they'll clean them, and they're going to let us stay in the yard. But they woke up this morning and went to the toilet, and yes, the toilets were locked, basically. All shared facilities had to be locked, but they haven't really thought of what people are supposed to do. But then I saw the yard guys, and I said to them, I need the toilet, and they started phoning people, and they were quite angry. So the guy drove over in his van, and one of the guys from the office, I don't know who they all are, but he came over and he basically just unscrewed the system and just took out the bit from the side of the door. And then after that, the police came round and told another boat that they should stop working on it. There's only us, and then there's 2 other guys that are actually going tomorrow. So there's no shared facilities here. Apart from the yard guys, obviously, if they're working, they need to use the loos. It's a place of work. We're working on our boat. It's unhygienic if we start using the yard to go to the toilet. It's not impossible, but it's just, or even doing it in a bucket and emptying it into the marina. To me, that sounds like we're going to get sick and we'll end up in the hospital. Again, it's very unnerving, and we're going to be cracking on as much as we can, but we've got rain forecast. That's not good. But as soon as we get in the water, I guess the better. I don't know. Because we haven't got the lower shroud attached and they've got high winds, I've just attached 2 lines from the main mast back to 2 cleats, and we put our backstays back on, so there's no reason for the mast to fall down. Right, so we just need to get some chocks from somewhere, so we put extra chocks under the boat, and we need to secure that as well everything's a bit broken. They don't look very reliable. Because we're the only ones here. If we find a chock that's not being used, we'll grab it and we'll just put it under our own boat. We're not even bothering asking the yard now because they seem busy doing stuff and nobody cares really anymore. So you've got to just find ways of dealing with your own problems really at the moment.
We've been told to get the boat back in the water as quickly as possible, but we've can't get the anti-foul on while it's raining and windy, so we don't know what we're going to do.
In Spain, the number of deaths has risen sharply by almost 400 in the past 24 hours. The NHS in England is contacting 1.5 million people with serious health problems to instruct them to remain in their homes for 3 months.
So because everyone keeps leaving, just leaving the yard, we're going to be the only ones left in the yard, but everyone keeps dropping off all their food. So we just work our way through all the food that everyone's leaving us. We've got a lot of onions and garlic. As you can see, there's a whole basket of it. Onions, and about 3 or 4 packets of garlic. Garlic soup, onion soup. And today in our menu, we're still working our way through the frozen chips. Chicken nuggets, I think. And chuletas, I think that's pork. So we're going to cook that up with some mixed vegetables, even sprouts. It's like Christmas. So yeah, that's on the menu tonight. Who knows what will be on tomorrow? Depends what you find.
So there was still a handful of liveaboards left in and around the marina. We were the only ones in the yard by that point. And the VHF became a lifeline for everybody. We have a daily VHF meetup. And keep in contact with people, pass on information.
Okay, I'm not sure if the tower's open, but I'm thinking if anybody wants to order anything, if they get it delivered to the laundry, we're right across from the laundry and we'll tell you exactly when UPS is here, and we can retrieve it for you. We're contemplating ordering a freezer, but we don't know if it'll actually make it here.
Rincon had it?
Go ahead, Rinka.
Hi Cynthia, yeah, someone sent us some masks last week, but they haven't arrived yet. They didn't arrive on Friday, I don't know if they're there this week, but it seems to be quite slow, the post. I don't know whether it will turn up at all or whether.
Okay, so that was through the post office then?
Yeah, I think so. I think it would have been the post office in England to Spain. Over.
Okay, because I was also thinking of ordering some more vitamins as well, but have to look at that, I guess.
So, nobody in the car apart from the driver, is that correct? Okay.
Rincon had it?
Ranker.
I know that Sophie and Ryan on Sophie and Ryan Sailing made their own water maker. I don't know whether you're up for that, but it's on their YouTube channel.
Yeah, I've been watching those DIY videos, a couple of them. There's another company in America that is supplying all the components. It's also, it is cheaper, but it's not that much cheaper.
Everybody takes a turn at coordinating the net, helping each other out, passing on information.
Light, wind. Finish.
Okay, that's the weather for the next 3 days. It looks like on Tuesday we're going to get quite a lot of rain, but yeah, that's the next 3 days. Thank you, Ewan. Okay, anything anyone wants to add coming now? Over.
And we even set up a few quizzes just to keep people occupied, because there's still a lot of people who are single living on boats. It's enough to drive anyone crazy if they don't have any contact with the outside world.
Sad pancake.
Sad pancake, how many points have you got?
4.
Good score. Anyone else?
Also, FaceTime and Skype help us keep in contact with family and friends.
Yeah, they said also they can see some cities in China, I think, that they couldn't normally see because of the pollution.
Yeah, that's right.
What in China?
Some cities from satellite views, they can now see cities because the pollution's all gone.
I mean, the one thing that we're absolutely grateful for is the fact that we've still got mobile data, because it's an absolute lifeline. Without that, I don't know what we do. We'd have no homeschooling, no entertainment, no contact with friends and no news.
It's laundry day. I'm going to do all the washing again. So I've got to go to the laundrette, it's still open, stick it in and then bring it back and hang it out.
A record 950 people with coronavirus have died in Spain over the past 24 hours, taking the country's fatalities to more than 10,000.
These have been the deadliest 24 hours so far for Spain since this crisis began. These figures will call into question how effective the national lockdown, now into its third week, is proving. New figures released today showed that over 800,000 jobs were destroyed in March.
So in between the police patrols, we try and take every opportunity we can to carry on with the maintenance when the weather allows. I mean, there's nobody in the boatyard anyway, so we don't come into contact with anybody, so we're not putting anybody in danger.
Let's get on our boat, let's get on our boat, quick. Quickly. We just saw our friend from another boat and she was dropping her rubbish off, so we're like, hi, how you doing? And then the police went past, so she immediately kind of got moving, and then they kind of slowed down and they went round again, and we thought they might come in the yard, so we quickly got back on the boat, and but they've gone. I think they've gone. So was that a bit more Spanish?
And we try and get the kids off at least once a day to run around the boat just to burn off a bit of energy.
Okay, guys, go.
Boris Johnson, who remains in isolation after testing positive for the infection, said he understood everybody might be getting a bit stir-crazy, particularly if they have children in the house.
It's literally like being in a prison. What's over the wall?
A completely empty beach.
I want to get over.
At this point, I think people are more afraid of the police than they are of the virus.
When I was going to the toilet block, there was a drone and it came over the buildings, and then first I didn't think much of it, but when it came back it just stayed there hovering above me, and I knew I wasn't really meant to be outside the boat, but I was just going to the loo.
The anchor hit it and it flipped it and it blew up. Oh my god, there's a car now. Yeah, we're going to be kicked out. Ah!
No, Rex! Down the line!
Dad, what happened? My mum's a bit burst.
So Woody was moving some wood around in the cockpit, and we've got this fantastic switch that allows the anchor to be operated from the cockpit, and it makes the anchor drop. But what happened is we keep accidentally touching it, and so the anchor dropped, hit this tap here and knocked the whole tap off, and so we had the whole of the water mains spraying out over the whole marina. This is us trying to keep a low profile because we're the only ones in the yard, and I suppose we shouldn't really be in here. But and then we could just see the whole of the boat just flooding, the whole area flooding, and and we just thought we were going to be completely surrounded by a lake. So we were trying to find the mains first to cut it off, and then I tried to stuff a t-shirt in it, and then we managed to get a wooden bung in it. Thank God we're on a boat, because that's why you have wooden bungs all the time. Anyway, we had to do the anchor, so we've got that down now, but that wasn't really intended to do that today, but it's ready for when we want to do that. It was dry, and now it's actually soaking wet and squidgy, and the water just goes all the way along there.
You get them. And Dad got a cork, put it in and the hammer.
So that's our adventure for today.
The only time officially when we're allowed off the boat is to go food shopping. But because we haven't got a car and only one person can go at a time, it becomes quite an ordeal. This is Rex leaving for the shops.
Yeah, so just went to the shops. The streets are quiet, as you expect, and in the shop you go in, you've got to clean your trolley down, and it's a kind of bit of like, you just want to go in and out basically. Most people walking around with masks, kind of head down, you know. There's always like people on their own. You don't get any kids shouting or anything like that. And everything's there again. I mean, they've got something on the loudspeaker saying, you know, don't worry, you don't need to stockpile. They're going to keep bringing the food and all the products, and everything is there now. There's nothing run out. Even the red wine's there, the loo paper, the meat, the vegetables, everything. So, you know, you just get what you need really. The only reason we bought a little bit more bread and stuff is so that we don't have to go back, because we don't really want to be back and forth there all the time. Now we've got the freezer working, we can stick it in. So normally I wouldn't buy 2 spinach, but obviously, you know, it's trying to keep the vitamins up as well, as advised by one of our friends who's a nurse. But we've even got the nice seeded bread back, so because that went out for a while. But yeah, I just bought more bread because we eat a lot of that and we have that every day. So the supermarket's all replenished and everything's there. The staff, you know, there's more staff on, so you don't queue really. I think what's happening is people finding the fact that you can't chat and there's not much life going on is the difficult thing. Everything's kind of deadened down and it just feels morbid. I think that's the challenge. It's even the shop, the only place where you might meet someone, is a little bit morbid. So I think that's the thing that everyone's struggling with probably, really. Just that life has just come to a big stop really out there. So it's really got to be in your own home, and if you haven't got anyone in your own home, then you're on your own, and you know, you've got to try and use social media and stuff to try and stay positive.
The Spanish government is expected to extend the current lockdown by at least a fortnight, amid signs the outbreak could be reaching its peak.
For the 8th day in a row, Spain has seen more than 800 deaths caused by coronavirus over the previous 24 hours. The total number of infections is now at just under 125,000, the second highest number in the world after the United States. The government of Pedro Sanchez is today deciding whether to extend the national lockdown, which has already been in place for 3 weeks.
So that's where we're at the moment. Lockdown has been extended to 4 weeks. Now it looks like it's going to go on till the end of April, which is probably about 6 weeks in total. And that'll be 6 weeks when officially we're not allowed off the boat, we're not allowed to work on the boat, we're not allowed to go anywhere. And it's difficult. But on the positive side, we're all healthy, we've got each other. I know there's a lot of people locked away by themselves and struggling with the social isolation. So if you are one of those people who are by yourself, just stay safe, wash your hands, and know that you're not alone in all this. So I better stop now because the rain's coming in again, and I need to get inside and have a cup of tea. So thanks for supporting us, and if you do want to support us in future blogs, then follow the link down below to our Patreon page and become part of the family.
And then after that, what happens is you motor in, and then they put the yeah, this is my family.
Stop! Don't touch me. It is my no sweat.
So
sorry. I was like, why?
You think I wonder how I was talking?
Yeah, what was he saying sitting out in the rain?
So a huge thanks to our patrons, especially in this time when your support is more important than ever. In a few months, hopefully the worst of this will all be over and we can get back to our normal blogging.
But you and me will still be family. Sing ho, hey, along for the ride, ho. Hey, I'll stay by your side, ho. Hey, you'll always be alright by me. You're alright.
Let's go for a fight to get it.
What?